This is LA Lloyd's Rock 30.
LA Lloyd here. You may know that the last few weeks or so, we've been playing a song called Sour from Ryan Perdz that I'm very excited about and asked him to be on the show. And he's here for his first time. So, first of all, glad to meet you, man.
Thanks for having me. It's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. I wanted to start off with something that you and I have in common, and that is we both grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm in North Carolina many years ago. You with your grandparents there, I believe, in Buffalo. So with that said, growing up on that farm, I mean, one thing for me was I just always wanted to, I love my family, my heritage there, but there was one thing I loved about music. That was always my passion and kind of what drove me into my career traveling all over the country. So did you kind of go the same path, or what was it from the farm to where you are now?
I mean, living where I lived, it gave me a lot of time to rehearse my instrument and everything and get into my craft kind of. And yeah, it is interesting traveling these days and everything is so much different from where I'm from. So
Well, good, man. And of course, when you first came on the scene, a lot of people knew you as this YouTube blow up sensation kind of thing. What was it that, really kind of drove you for, people knowing you for Ryan instead of just being this YouTube guy and kind of get you where you are today and obviously finally landing a big record deal there with Big Machine?
I always, posted covers just for my original music to be heard. That was kind of my idea the whole time. I never wanted to be a cover guy ever, but that's it's the name of the game nowadays. But yeah, my music lends itself towards the grunge guys, so I knew if I posted some grunge covers, I could acquire some grunge fans, and they could later on be fans of my music. Hopefully,
You think a lot of them came over pretty immediately, man? I mean, what do you think it was? It really was kind of a good bridge between that and, where you are with your original songs.
it took a while for people to actually listen to my stuff. It took a while, a little bit for my covers to do well on TikTok and everything, but it takes a lot of work if you're a guy who's gonna post on social media for your original music, it's gonna take a lot of work and a lot of trial and error because people don't really open up social media to find new music, honestly.
Right.
They like to hear what they're familiar with. So if you can ease them into it in your own way, then have at it, good luck.
Well, I have to ask you, in the streaming world that we live in, even established artists have finally kind of come from the old school of, I got to have a full length album kind of thing. Maybe putting out a single or a couple singles and an EP, and then maybe eventually put it all together for a full length album. I mean, you're coming right out the gate, man, with a full album, which I applaud you for because I still love that myself. It's just the way I've always been subjected to music and everything. So why was it important to do that full length album for you?
I have been releasing like singles and EPs when I was independent and stuff like that, just because, as a person with not a lot of money and everything, you just have to do what you got to do. Singles is the name of the game with social media nowadays because the way you promote, it can really only be one song, unless you're an artist who can, move needles and stuff like that. If you have a big fan base. But singles are really the name of the game now with independent social media content. But now that I'm signed to a label, it's amazing I get to actually release a full album, and it's what I've always wanted to do, and it's finally here.
Well, let me add on to that question a little bit because a lot of people, I guess, the established artists have said the reason that they are kind of coming out with singles or maybe even EPs is because they say, "Look, I've got an album, 11 or 12 songs. If the way the record industry works, they'll release a single here to radio or streaming or whatever, and then there's those 5 or 6 songs that really never get the love that the artist would hope for them to have." So, have you kind of thought about that and how that might relate to you?
I feel like that's kind of what is lost in the music industry today. It's they're trying to kind of please the short attention span, but take Nirvana as an example. It's like their songs that aren't hits are what makes them have super fans.
Right.
When you listen to an album and you can listen to every song and you like the songs that other people don't like, and they're putting out music that aren't just they're trying to make a hit or whatever, that's what makes you have long-lasting fans, in my opinion. That's why, I don't know, it's important to put out a lot of music because that's how you gain an actual fan base rather than just promoting trying to get famous, trying to get famous.
Yeah, I think that's a really great answer and a great way to look at it. And, moving into your record label, I mean, Big Machine obviously started as this big country behemoth and artists were just blowing up. And then, of course, I think they made the wise choice of, branching off a little bit and starting to promote some rock artists. I mean, you got Daughtry and Bad Flower and Aaron Jones, and the roster just keeps growing now with the youth. So let's talk about, obviously Nashville is kind of the darling city where everyone seems to be doing music business these days. So let's talk about your relationship with Big Machine.
It's great. It's awesome. I got signed like 2 years ago or something. It's been a wild ride so far. I've recorded the full album and it's been fun. I've had a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't have had being, from a farm in Buffalo, New York. It's really special to me to my first live performance with a band was at the Whiskey A Go Go like in LA. So it's been and I think I'm playing there again in like 2 weeks. I don't know when this I'll have played there already by the
Yeah,
time this airs.
right.
But but yeah, I a lot of and then I'm opening for Daughtry in the fall too. That's just absolutely insane. Like I can't even believe it. But yeah, big thanks. Shout out to Big Machine Rock right there.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to Whiskey a Go Go a little bit there, man. I mean, that is just the such a historical room, and getting to play there already, and then you're going back again, man. I mean, what was it like? Honestly, did you kind of have to just really take it all in because you're going like, man, this is really a surreal moment. I'm here playing live, at the Whiskey.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Every stage is kind of the same, honestly,
Yeah.
once you're up there. But it is really cool to, share a stage that Oasis was on, Jim Morrison and all that.
Mm.
I don't know if it's true if you can like channel the people that were on it, if that's just all BS. I don't know. But I felt like I did have a really successful performance there. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you brought up Daughtry because it was a little over 20 years ago on this show right here was one of the times he got exposed to a national radio audience, and I just love the way his career has gone. And last time we spoke, he was just praising Big Machine as well. Being a label mate and kind of watching his career, and obviously you're getting the opportunity to play the same stage when he comes up on this big 20-year unplugged tour. I mean, what have you kind of learned, if anything, yet? I mean, obviously there's still a lot to go, but is there anything about Daughtry that you've seen that's really kind of you're going like, yeah, I think that's a good way to carry your career, if you will.
I mean, nowadays he's kind of just doing whatever he wants, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really did love that first album that came out. I used to listen to it all the time growing up. Obviously, with the American Idol record, but he's much more than that now, obviously. But yeah, being yourself, and he never steered away from his hard rock vocals, even if the music did get a little poppier or whatever. He stayed true to his vocals, and that's awesome. He knows how to take care of his vocals too, which is awesome. You know, I, he's been around for 20 years. His vocals still sound the same, if not better now. I don't know. Maybe like guys like Chris Cornell and like that as they get older, their voice. If you protect your voice and everything, it can benefit you.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up because I agree with you. And another point about Chris is he just seems so happy being at the place he's at because we're both from North Carolina and we talked about our history and just like always loving rock and roll, man. And it seems like he's finally got to that point. And protecting his voice, he's explained to me, not only does he work out physically, but the voice is a muscle, man. I mean, and obviously you're coming up on that big tour. Do you do vocal exercises or what do you want to do to, keep those vocals as solid as they are, 25, 30 years from now?
Yeah, I have a vocal coach. There's a bunch of different approaches you can go to it. It's all about not overstraining your voice and everything, doing it in a healthy way and warming up, and warming down as well.
Mhm.
It's tough. You're so busy when you're playing shows. It's tough to actually do that, but it's really important that you do. It's like it's like your voice is an instrument itself, but also it's like working out. You got to exercise it, and you're training yourself basically, just like working out.
Dealing with your songs, isolation, grief, self-doubt, and as the audience continues to grow, do you see yourself becoming a little bit more of an advocate for mental health, or you just kind of want to let the songs do the talking and you express your help in that way, if you will?
Yeah, I would say my music can help just in that way. Listening to it, I don't know if I've really vocalized it much. I mean, I made a post for like Men's Mental Health Month, but yeah, it's tough because you don't really have to say exactly uh what you would think people need to hear to help mental health. I listen to Nirvana all the time, and those lyrics say nothing about mental health directly,
Hmm.
but around it gets around to it somehow. I feel like it does focus on mental health even if you don't say it. Like grunge a lot of ways. I fell on black days or whatever. He is saying I'm depressed, but he's using metaphors and stuff. And that's what's so special about music is you can listen to it and someone can be saying their life sucks or whatever, but not in a direct way. It makes you feel not so alone.
It's so amazing how I keep hearing, the influence or at least your love for that era of music during grunge. And, here you are 30 some odd years later. I feel like we could have had this same conversation in 1991. I mean, do you feel like you would have, I don't want to say fit in, but do you feel like if your music was released the same time as, say, Soundgarden or Nirvana, it would have feel right in place?
Oh no. I feel like I could make more grunge music back then. I still do kind of try to strive for a modern rock sound.
Yeah.
If I was around back then, I could have went balls to the wall and done actual grunge, but I don't know if I could hold a candle up next to the legends,
Yeah.
of course. But interesting. It's interesting to think about. I've never thought of that.
Absolutely, man. The album is called Can't Cry. And, sometimes that's the first impression before someone, maybe if you're scrolling or it becomes recommended on a playlist, and you go, huh, that title's interesting. I think I want to listen to that. I mean, going back, even pre-streaming, I mean, was there an album title that or titles from other artists that really caught your eye before you even knew a lot about the artist or heard their songs? And if that's kind of the case, once someone does hear your album, what do you hope that they kind of pull from your title?
Albums with an album title.
Hmm.
I mean, the Chili Peppers always had cool,
Yeah,
Stadium Arcadium.
right. Mother's Mill. Yeah, I get you.
And I like the Chili Peppers stuff. I love Anthony Kiedis's poetry and ideas, how it's random, but random you can place it into whatever meaning you like. That's
Yeah.
what is so special about 90s grunge, and like Bush's lyrics too and stuff like that. It's so random and abstract that you can place it wherever you want in your mind and you can make it something way cooler. I don't even know what Stadium Arcadium means, but looks cool. I don't know. It sounds cool. I could think of something. I don't know if it means anything, but that's what's so special about music and 90s rock and stuff like that. You can put up your own meaning. But yeah, Can't Cry. It's a lyric from Heavy Eyes. What's the point of a tear when you can't cry? Like we live life and we make so many mistakes and everything, and you can't cry all the time. But I can't rain all the time either. One of my favorite lines from the Crow movie. You know, life isn't just linear, it's ups and downs, and you you gotta smile with dirt in your teeth a lot. And, it's the weight of the world is so heavy, but, you can't show it all the time. And I think that's what this album shows that, these lyrics are for you to remember when in those moments when you can't cry or you're not allowed to, and you gotta put on a brave face and move on.
Well, if this will help you any at all with Stadium Arcadium, when that album first came out and the tour kicked off, I was working at a radio station in San Antonio, and they were playing an arena that was around, I don't know, 15, 16,000. So we had five people that got down to the finalists, and they had to literally sit in every seat in the entire stadium. And before, the winner was picked, whoever did it first got the tickets and the big VIP treatment. So if anything could put it into perspective, you can always remember that little story there for what maybe Stadium Arcadium means.
Nice. That's awesome.
So another thing about you, I wanted to talk about being a multi-instrumentalist, guitar, bass, mandolin, I think violin also. When you're putting together your songs, do each of these instruments bring out something, different to making the final song what it is, or is it just, collectively they are what they are? I guess what I'm asking is one put more importance than the other, or do you need them all to really make your sound?
I don't play all the instruments on my music. I've only played violin on a couple of my songs ever. But I would say while writing, you can switch instruments and start off on guitar and then move to mandolin or whatever. And then you could write something on that instrument and then bring it back to guitar. Just like if I'm on my acoustic guitar, I write all my songs on an acoustic, but then I move to my electric guitar and I play the same thing, but your ear just finds something differently there. So it's important to experiment. And playing bass too, you find a lot of random riffs that you can do, and then maybe you add it into the song as the guitar riff instead of a bass. It's fun to mess around when you play a lot of instruments like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit about the single. I didn't know if it was one of the first ones that was written, or kind of, sometimes they can say one song can kind of lead the pattern of how other songs follow along or how it's put together on the track list. So maybe talk a little bit about all of that, putting it together, and when this one was actually recorded with the other song.
Sour?
Yeah.
Cool. Sour, I wrote that riff on the verse a while ago and I just kept it in my back pocket for something special. I always liked it, but I didn't have a chorus that was cool enough. So I was in the studio. This record is my first like collaborative effort. I worked with Sam Hollander on it.
Mhm.
Shout out Sam, but so he produced it, but I was kind of just playing that verse riff and then I just randomly kind of did that walk up style thing for the chorus, kind of like a Bush Machine Head type vibe. And I kind of just started singing the chorus melody over it within like seconds. So it was pretty special how that one came along because it took like 10 seconds for me to figure out the chorus, which is great. And then Sam was like, "Oh, make a riff after it, but change the time signature." So it's almost like them bones a little bit, that
Yeah.
riff after where I say sour over it, which is cool. It's a little nod to Alice in Chains there for sure. But yeah, this song just came together really well, and it was really hard to sing in the studio, and now I got to play it live all the time and sing it, so that's fun.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was thinking when you were talking about that, I've seen a few videos where you've been traveling around and performing for these, small crowds that radio stations may invite you to or something like that. And it's just you and the acoustic guitar. And I'm going like, man, first of all, it's intimidating being a new artist, I got to think. Second of all, that is a very challenging song, especially to do on an acoustic, man. So, I mean, what are you feeling when, you're proving yourself, obviously, and you want to make your name out there, but that's a tough one to kinda, start all of this off.
I guess so. Yeah, I feel like I like I mean, it is such a song that it's like you have to focus every single fiber of your being on for sure. It's almost like playing like Snow by the Chili Peppers and singing it at the same time. You got to use both sides of your brain, but those are the moments I love because I'm thinking about nothing else. Like I'm not thinking about how much my life sucks. When I'm focusing on, my guitar and my singing at the same time, and then I'm thinking, oh wow, this chorus is gonna be tough. But like, if it sounds bad, I guess they'll just have to live with it. But lucky for me, it people seem to like it, so that's cool. But yeah, playing it on a morning radio show is a little tough. We talk about, you know, they're talking about Bigfoot, and then I have to sing "Star" right after 8 in the morning. It's great, but wouldn't want it any other way. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've told the story about, getting that first Ovation guitar from your brother when you were like 10 years old, and obviously you still play it today, man. Do you and your brother just kind of have some, I don't know, sitting around the table at Thanksgiving where the brother may go like, well, if it wasn't for me giving you that guitar, you might not be doing what you're doing right now?
I mean, I guess we never really talk about it. My other brother he did the album cover painting, so I stick with my family through and through. They'll always have my back, and I'll always have theirs. Of course, my brothers have always been there for me, which is amazing. Most people can't say that, so I'm blessed with a great family for sure. But yeah, that was really cool because, my family didn't have a lot of money growing up. So my brother was working at a t-shirt factory and he just like for my birthday bought me, you know, a not so cheap guitar, which was really amazing. And I just stuck with it.
Well, it seems like that family bond has, really been very great in your life, man, as we started off the show talking about the farm and things like that. As we close it out today, man, and the album finally comes out, fans get to hear Can't Cry, all the songs. Being this is your big major label debut, if you will, with Big Machine. What do you hope that listeners kind of walk away after hearing these songs and feeling like they know you a little bit better? What is something you hope they'll recall about Ryan Perdz, the person and the songwriter?
The person songwriter.
Yeah.
I think that I hope they listen to it and just think, wow, I haven't heard music like this since, the 90s or something like that. That
Yeah.
would be cool. I mean, I love early 2000s rock too. I really love the Chili Peppers and everything, but I hope people can put me up there with the legends.
That's a great way to close it out today. Ryan, appreciate it, man. And I definitely will. I'm based in Austin, so I'll definitely try to make the drive down to San Antonio when you're on tour there with Daughtry, man. I'd love to meet you again in person, and maybe we can get you back on the show and see how things have progressed, once we get into the fall.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. And for sure, I'll see you there.
All right, my friend. Take care. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, man.